Welcome to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Rob. Joined with me, my friends Lou
Hey yo,
and Mike.
Take two.
Take two. No melted cheese this time, so I think we're already off to a better start. But each week we like to start off the podcast with an icebreaker / blind rank. You got one for us this week, Lou?
yeah, I like blind rank so much that I think we're gonna do another one. All right, you guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right, no croissants in this one, I promise. All right,
Croissant.
no
Any
croissants.
chipmunks singing Christmas carols?
I don't understand that reference.
To the podcast, our Christmas podcast.
Oh, I blocked that out of my head. Yeah, I've never felt less Christmas spirit than doing those podcasts.
All right.
All right, blind ranking random foods. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right,
Ready.
French toast.
My wife's gonna.
4.
My wife's gonna hate me, but I'm gonna put it at 4 as well.
Not as good as pancakes? Question mark.
I would agree that it is not as good as pancakes. I don't mind French toast, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. Of the big three, it'd be number 3. It goes pancakes, waffles, French toast. You want to leave a spot open in case you hit us with something truly unpleasant, like a croissant.
Robert, what about you? Where is that big 3?
I would go waffles, pancakes, French toast. I like.
I'm not mad at you for that. I
just think the versatility of waffles and pancakes. Granted, I think you probably could do a lot with French toast. I just haven't been around people that do it, so that's why I'm putting it at number 3. I like it when I have it, but I'm not really ever seeking it out.
Fair enough. I think I am French toast, waffle, then pancake. Yep. Crazy stuff. All right, let's do shawarma.
Ooh.
2.
Can be chicken or beef or lamb or gyro. No, gyro's not chicken.
Can I?
Gyro is a different thing. I don't know
Gyro's-
what it is, but I know it is different.
That's Greek, not Middle Eastern.
Yeah. No
Can I do like my picky eater shawarma, or is this your basic shawarma?
You can eat whatever you want. Yeah.
Okay, so my picky eater shawarma, I'll put that at 3 to be different from Mike. Between 2 and 3, but just to keep some difference, I'll put it at.
I got so many more questions in this one. What's your picky eater shawarma?
I don't like the pickles.
The pickle.
Oh, see, I just don't like the tomatoes. I always get the tomatoes off.
Yeah,
I can deal
so
with
yeah,
pickles.
basically the meat and like if they have like some greenery, depending on what it is, I'll take that too.
Fair enough. All right, we got fried chicken.
Like, I'll be bold. I'll take it number 1.
3.
Good fried chicken is fantastic. And I'm gonna lump like, no, that wouldn't work. But yeah, I'm gonna put it at number 1. I like that.
Okay. All right, we got ice cream.
Oh,
Put it at 2.
thing.
Put it at 2.
5.
Oh.
Here's your number 1, Mike. You got your number 1, my number 5.
All right, we got barbecue ribs.
Dang
no!
Mike wishes he didn't leave his number 1 open. I wish I didn't leave my number 5.
Oof, that was rough.
I'd probably put barbecue ribs at 2 and move everything down 1.
I think I feel the exact same way.
Shawarma would get the top spot, and let's see, shawarma, fried chicken. Shoot, what am I forgetting? Ice cream would go above French toast, and then whatever's left goes in 3.
Your barbecue ribs that you don't like.
Oh, sorry, barbecue ribs in 5, then ice cream, then French toast, then ice cream.
Not a rib guy, huh?
No.
Found that out the hard way. That's one
Famous
thing
Dave's
that would have
kept
worked.
bringing them for free, and so I ate them for lunch a few times. And when they're free and you're starving, they're okay, I guess.
Yeah, Famous Dave's is okay.
Famous Dave's is okay. Yeah.
They have barbecue. What is it? I think wontons or something like that. Those are really good.
Ooh, I never had
I have
those.
learned that I
rolls, that's
definitely
what it is.
prefer the dry rub. Like, I don't like the sauce on it.
You're a Texan barbecue boy.
I'll take your word for it.
Is it the stickiness? Wow, I am intrigued with your guys' palate today.
I think part of it is the stickiness, and then just in general, I like a lot of dry rub spices. I've been coming around on them.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. I think dry rub is harder to do, but when you do it right, it's hands down the best way to make barbecue. And then you can always add sauce on. But for the most part, a sauce, if you just don't really put any rub or just salt and pepper, it's gonna be good. But it's the sauce you're tasting, not like the actual meat itself and the flavors that have like soaked into it.
Yeah, because I do like the rib meat. I think it's just that I'm not a big sauce guy in that context.
That's fair. Yeah, I think when I turn 40, I'm gonna be a brisket. I'm gonna learn how to do brisket.
They're hard to cook.
Yeah. But that's gonna be my midlife crisis. Not a Corvette.
Dude, I got for Christmas. I got the Chef IQ double sensor pack. So it's like the 2 meat thermometers where both the inner part and the little like outer part have a sensor in it, so you can get the ambient temperature of the smoker and the temperature of the meat, and it all runs into your phone. I am so excited to do some barbecue with that.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I grilled up some venison backstrap. I'd never cooked it in my life. Came out perfect. It even tells you like, hey, it's time to pull the meat, time to flip the meat. I was like, geez, this is insane.
Is it wireless or
takes
does
the
it
fun out of
take
it.
a wire to like a double
It's
box?
wireless, so it Bluetooths to its box. So you just keep the box by the grill, and then the box connects to the internet, and so it connects to your phone anywhere you have internet.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
What are we talking about this week, Lou?
I practice this a lot, and this is the second take, so hopefully I even do it better now. But top 5 or top 3 good intentions but bad outcomes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're only doing
So-
3 this week because one of us is sick. We'll let you figure out who it is. I'm just gonna make it.
It's the one who sounds like melted cheese. Oh wait, that joke doesn't work this time.
No.
I continue.
That real doesn't
That'll
work
the
this time.
second time.
It took my-
Maybe. Oh no, I can't cut it because we lost the audio. I was gonna say maybe I can insert it. Can't even do that. Oops, just lost the time.
I will say, for anyone who's confused, because we just tend to like not care if people don't understand what we're talking about. We made it about 15 minutes in to the first take before realizing that Lou and I weren't coming through the audio. On the rare occasions we have had to re-record, we're usually a full episode in, and it's like the next day when we figure it out. So way better this time around.
Mhm. Lou, what's your number 3?
All right, my number 3. Man, it's hard because I feel like I want to say the exact same thing that I said,
Go for it.
but well, it's easier said than done here. I didn't record myself. But yeah, so I like how do I even word this? Sorry, you're gonna have to cut a little bit of this.
So Lucian was on the phone with his grandmother.
Yeah. I was gonna the back end of it. So yeah, I was on the I'll just go straight into it. I'm not a bad person. Judge me if you want to. I've seen a lot of death recently, so I'm a little weird now.
Jaded like us.
I'm a little jaded. Amen, brother. So I recently, because of the season, I've been talking. It's the season of talking to family members that you don't really talk to throughout the rest of the year. So I was talking to my grandmother, my dad's mother, and we maybe talk maybe two to 4 times a year. And so she called me to catch up, and she told me that she was recently in the hospital because she wasn't feeling good, and then the doctor told her that she has type 1 diabetes instead of type 2 now. And I just had this joke in my brain that I was like, this is gonna kill, and we're all gonna laugh and get closer as a family. And so I said, yeah, it just sounds like you're just being an overachiever at this point in your life. And dead silence. And then she responded with, I've never been an overachiever, Lucian. And I was like, oh no, I could never be. It's the worst response. And so I had to just do my apology and then just bear the awkward conversation after that, and at some point be relieved from the conversation. But yeah, that's recent. I just did this, so that's my third. That's my 3.
I feel like I should have been able to come up with more than 3. I couldn't, but I have had that happen to me so many times.
Jokes.
Yeah,
the good thing with you, Mike, sorry, not to take this away from you, Lou, but Mike loves it when his joke falls flat or like one person laughs. So at least to you like it. I'm just like, I need to go hide in the corner.
I'm such a sick sadistic SOB that like even if the joke is no laughs, but everyone is wildly uncomfortable, I think it's hysterically funny, and I'm like, then the trouble becomes not showing on my face how much I'm enjoying everyone else's discomfort.
It's that becomes the funny thing. The joke doesn't matter anymore. It's how you handle the
Exactly.
that becomes the funny thing. Yeah.
Also, I mean, I take a swing at every joke I see. So like I strike out more than almost anybody, but like I swing at everything too. So yeah, like they're gonna fall flat.
No one bats
sometimes.
1,000, you know. Except Tim's probably close, but you know,
Tim is close.
when you're just waiting for the perfect snipe, it's a lot easier. And buckshot. How did you recover from that, or was it just awkward for the rest of the phone call, Lou?
It was just awkward for us at a phone call. It ended up being the back half. It ended up being the back half of the conversation. I think I was a little manipulative and knew that she liked to talk about her past and how she grew up, so I kind of brought that up and just let her rant.
There you go.
For a little bit, kind of just, you know, me and my pastor are pretty tight, and he always talks about kung fuing the conversation, because once you become a volunteer, a pretty
such an
active,
Alex sentence. Oh my gosh.
yeah. Once you become an active, active in the church, and I'm on stage a lot of the time, people just want to talk to you, and it gets awkward. So you kind of just manipulate the conversation in a certain way and let them do their thing, because people like to talk about themselves often.
Unless you're me.
Even people who don't really like talking about themselves, if you get them on the right topic, you can get them to go for a little bit.
I'll tell you what though, that dude Alex is the best I've ever seen at being able to just like make anyone feel comfortable and get them going.
He's got a black belt in kung fu conversations.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He also, another one I really like is that he I can't remember exactly how he says it, but he brings people into his jacuzzi. And that one's a little.
I think a hot
weird.
tub would be better, because jacuzzi, I'm thinking like that's your primary bathroom, you know.
You know I'm a degenerate.
There you go.
That one's very weird, but for some reason that one really related to me. That one resonated with me.
Hey Lou, just come over here in my jacuzzi. You know?
Yeah, isn't that warm?
We're all friends. Ain't no need for trunks, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the bubbles. Don't worry.
Just the bubbles, baby.
Oh, how'd that get turned off? What?
Just the bubbles. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, you ever like leave a conversation and feel warm, you know, afterwards? Like you just peed your bed without remembering you peed your bed, you know, like that kind of thing. That's how I want to leave every conversation with. I want to feel like I just peed my bed.
Honestly, that's perfect, because you know most times that we talk, Lou, I do walk away feeling cold and slightly stale.
No, before that. Yeah. Gosh.
I'm so glad we had to re-record. Yep. None of this happened the first time.
Nope. Just talk about the Jonas Brothers and how they also, one of them has type 1 diabetes.
Hey, that was pretty funny too.
Well, it's not quite as good. But, So we'll get to my number 3, but first I want to give my wife a shout out, because she picked a topic very similar to this. It was your top 5 oh crap moments. I just feel like that fits perfectly with this scenario. So Becca, you can't win the topper point, because you know I am sleeping with you, so I can't show bias like that. But you will get points for being for getting the first topic, and you have the first topper points of the year. So Cantwell, watch out, she's coming for your crown. This topic to me is very much like our embarrassing moments, which I'd highly recommend. I think that's probably one of our first like good episodes, I would say, where we had.
It was definitely. It was easily the best we'd done when it came out.
Yeah, best
Sound
early season.
Leave something to be desired.
Yeah,
but...
well, we were still figuring stuff out, still are, but Cas Hot Kyle, I think that's his first time on the podcast, but it was great. I'd recommend going back and listening to it. But one thing I talked about is
Gusta Chicos.
I think that's what it came from. This is very much like an embarrassing moment. When it happens, my brain's just like, delete. You got to delete this. Like, no need to remember this. So for me, it was really hard. I thought of one right away, and then my number 3, not my number 3, but my third one, I thought of maybe 40 minutes ago. So it all this was a hard list for me, but I think it's a fun list to talk about. So my first one, my number 3, I was hanging out with some buddies. This was like right after college. We were just hanging out. There was a couple girls around there. I thought one was kind of cute, and I think we were outside of the bonfire just chatting. And one of the girls was going through a breakup and was going through this hard time, and it was just quiet except for her talking to her other girlfriend, and it would just it was getting hella awkward. So I, wanted to step in and save face for my bros, make my bros laugh because it's, bros before girls. So I made this joke.
Doesn't work if you don't say it right.
Well, I'm not gonna call it. I like her.
No, that's cool. It's cool.
Hose, Rob. The word you're looking for is hose.
So I make this joke, and it may have been at the girl I thought that was cute's expense, and definitely she ended up hating me for a little bit there for a few months, and it put me on the wrong foot, when I was trying to be a player. But in the end, it all worked out, and now we're married. So I think I made the guys laugh though, and that's what mattered. That's what was not good for my love life. Immediately.
Well, I know many of her siblings and her other immediate family members, and it is tradition for the men in her family to have been disliked by the women that they would later marry. So in a way, it's kind of you following right into that tradition. So kind of works out.
And to be fair, I think I think she's going through a recent breakup, and I think if it wasn't so close to that, I think she also would have found the joke funny, at least chuckled at it and not had such a visceral reaction. But
did you just laugh at the guy's name, or?
No, Lou did. Lou laughed at the guy's name.
You took it from me. His named as a herb. What's going on here? Why would you date a herb guy?
Then to be fair, if his name was Herb, I'd almost accept it. But it wasn't even I pronounce Herb. But no, it was.
Oh, I didn't know we were gonna call him out like that. But yeah, I was.
I'm not saying his last name.
I heard he's a good guy. Hope you're
How
doing
many
well.
people are named in the world?
Becca.
I'm sure more than one.
Now I got a Facebook stalk.
Oh gosh. Facebook is still trying to get me to add him as a friend, but I do not.
You should do it, bro. You're like, hey, guess who I'm sleeping with right
Established. Never mind.
Mike, what's your number 3? To move on from that one.
Oh,
I immediately found him.
Yep. Well,
does it rhyme? Is it like?
I don't know
his name either.
Like
does
he have a camera in the profile picture?
He's friends with your wife still on Facebook. I'll tell you that much.
He did like our engagement post. I think.
There you go.
There's no hard feelings.
I know his exact birthday.
Oh, okay, well,
Lou, calm down there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
His social security number is.
Don't put stuff on.
Here's his location.
Guys, don't put stuff on the internet. I'll tell you that much.
That was the social security number.
If you guys know Morse code, let us know what it is. Mike, what's your number 3?
So my number 3, I can't remember if I've told this story on the podcast or not, but it's entitled "Keep Joe Away from the Beer." And Hot Kyle was coming over one night for dinner, and the way that our dinner plans usually worked was I would cook dinner, and Kyle would show up with a 6-pack, or more often than not 2, and we'd eat dinner and have a few beers and talk politics, religion, or whatever other contentious topic we could come up with, and usually disagree, and that was just what we thought was fun. And so he walked in, I was like, all right, right up front, Joe, my daughter, is mobile and interested in trying everything right now. So we have to be hyper on our game about making sure any beer that's on the table is finished, and that Joe doesn't sneak in and get a beer, because she will try. And so we were on it. We were in the room at all times, eyes on the beer. Joe tried. She was flummoxed every single time. And so Kyle's about to go. Joe comes up and she's like, "Hey, Dada, I'm getting tired." I was like, "All right, just sit down on the couch. I'll put you to bed in just a minute." Kyle's about to leave, and she's like, "Okay." Kyle leaves, and we look over, and Joe is passed out on the couch. And I was like, "All right, I'm going to try and make the transfer." And to this point in my life, I had literally never been able to pick sleeping Joe up, move her to her bed, get her in the bed, and get away clean. She always woke up, and then we had to go through the process of getting her back to sleep. And so Kyle heads out. I pick up Joe gently. I tiptoe to her bed. I put her in her bed. I tuck her in. Everything's good. I get the door closed. I text Kyle. I was like, I'm a real dad now. I managed to do the transfer. Hell yeah. Mackenzie gets home. I'm bragging to her. She's like, that's great, honey. She goes in and changes, and she comes out and she's like, so Joe got into my pills. And we spend the most terrifying 5 minutes of my life going through and counting every single pill to see, all right, like, what did she have? Do we need to call poison control? Is my daughter gonna die? And the only thing she got into in a closet full of medication that could have killed her was she had like 50 milligrams of melatonin. And so the only reason I was successfully able to do the transfer at all was because I could have like punted her onto her bed and she wouldn't have woke up. She slept for like 14 straight hours and was groggy all day the next day. But I don't think you can actually overdose on melatonin.
I'm sure that melatonin hangover was awful.
Oh, I bet. But, the blood thinners would have been a drastically worse outcome. So, like, all's well that ends well. And we also kept her out of the beer. So, it's got points for that, right?
Yeah, make sure she didn't get crossfaded. Am I allowed to say crossfaded on the...
Yeah, I don't see
Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay. I've never done it, but...
Oh, so that's why
That's saying me either, but
there.
once again, go see our most embarrassing moments.
Was that on that one? Is that what we told the story?
Yeah.
It was either on that or it was on the got its own episode that week.
I think that might have been the retelling where it didn't sound like you were,
Yes,
have
the
teeth and have
first
a
telling
problem.
it flopped so hard. I sounded like an alcoholic. And then I retold it with Hot Kyle in the room, and it went over much better.
Mm-hmm. What's your number 2, Lou?
My number 2 happened in college. I don't think I shared this on the podcast yet.
You take off your clothes?
Nope. No. That wasn't really embarrassing. It was embarrassing. You're right. Never mind. But that's not right. No. I did a lot of stupid stuff in college. I'm a degenerate.
You get in the jacuzzi? Sorry, I'll stop.
No, that's cool. No, I'm friends with my roommate who saw me get naked very fast. I was in my draw still. I didn't get fully butt naked. Okay. I don't know. You guys are getting me on a tangent. So, in college, I had a advisor who taught a lot of my classes as well. I am really striking on her name, which is really bad. But me and her had this, like, when I say we had a thing,
whoa,
I don't want you guys thinking, yeah. We didn't have, like, a thing. But
I'm a degenerate.
she was like in her 60s, early 70s. And
I'm a degenerate.
You effing know it, big dog.
Wow, you're spamming right now.
I was only one of those.
Yeah. And we had a connection. I don't know. We liked each other quite a bit. She... No? I don't know.
There's nothing... A friendship.
I didn't have sex with her. I didn't have sex with her, okay? Alright? Or had sexual opinions on her. She was like...
What are you a sex addiction?
This is all Mike now.
Sex addiction?
I know. Yeah.
I will stop when he quits throwing softballs over the center of the plate.
Anyways, she always talked about I had a lot of classes with her, and she was my advisor, and she would always say, she was ever talking about sorry, now I'm getting tongue tied thinking about her.
Whoa.
If she ever talked about her husband, she would always call him hunky husband or something like that. Something of a hunk. And there have been multiple
that made
times.
You jealous.
No, well, let me finish the story.
Oh no.
There's multiple times she would always say, "You remind me of my hunky husband."
Whoa.
And so it was kind of like in the school, because it was such a small school. It was known that I was close to the hunky husband, and so I started dating Christian. Christian's also in my classes, and Christian's noticing my relationship with this 60, 70-year-old. Yeah. Gosh. And this is the hardest thing I've ever had to say online. And brought it up, was like, hey, this is a little weird. And I was like, yeah. And I was just like, yeah, I was just like, I'm just really grateful for her. She's really aging like a fine wine. And and I just really appreciate. I was just kind of like, making fun of the situation. And she was like, well, what am I then if she's a fine wine? And I was like, you're kind of like a warm beer. I don't. And I was just trying to be funny, I was just like, and then yeah, that just didn't hit. It didn't hit well.
Did she react worse to when you said her mom was attractive, or when you
No.
called her a
That
warm
was
beer?
also what came to mind for me.
No, the mom attractive was like, I think a little out left field for her, more confusion than like disappointment. The warm beer was straight to disappointment. And yeah, I mean, hey, it's on her for marrying me at this point, right? Like,
she saw the
kinda knew
signs. She saw the
she saw the
flags, the
signs.
beige flags. And...
I did not hide any of this. Yeah, and that's not even like the most like, that's not the weirdest thing I've ever said to her. I think I'll keep that one later in future podcast. But yeah, fine wine, warm beer. Christian still brings it up to this day. Yeah.
Sometime if you ever get like you need a name tag, you should write warm beer on hers.
Warm beer. Fun.
So my number 2 was kind of something I've learned from, but when I was starting out, it was definitely it was a problem. But so back in college, I learned how to play D&D, and so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna teach my fraternity brothers how to play. And I think this is my first campaign I ever ran, and I was very much like by the dice. So I get all these people. This one guy's super excited. He writes like a 3-page backstory. We're going through the Matt Colville like entry dungeon, and everyone's having a good time and all that. And I'm like I said, I'm very much by the dice. They meet the Goblin Shaman, who was going to cast this inflict wounds, which for a first level party is very deadly. He nat 20, so I'm like, sorry, dude, you get nat 20'd, and I just describe how his character's like eviscerated, and we were all having a good time, but then I just see his face, and he's like distraught and everything, like, oh, and I can just see how I ripped this soul out of him for all this time and effort he put into this backstory, and I wanted to have this fun campaign, and I know he did, and then I just left him as a blood stain up on this dungeon wall, and it is we kind of butt heads because I was 100% a ruthless DM, which definitely not the way to do D&D. Even if the dice rolls a 20, sometimes as a DM you should fudge it and all that stuff. But that definitely put a damper on our D&D relationship going forward.
Yeah, I half the time there were whole sessions where I was just rolling the dice to make the noise, and was just like I'd look at the dice and be like, no, that's not gonna be good storytelling. I'd go by the dice when the dice went by what the story needed.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have multiple sets of the same color dice, you could have them set to about the area you'd need, and so people, if anyone did challenge you, you could be like, no, here, come here, come look, see right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was all about. I was the exact opposite of by the dice. I was like, hey man, we're gonna, and I was all about just like make them feel like they're gonna lose and let them just squeak it out.
Mm-hmm.
That always went well.
Yeah, I think it's a fine balance between going by being like a ruthless DM and then having no character stakes or whatever. Definitely.
I'd kill you if you were stupid. Yeah. But as long as there were people who died where I was like, yeah, that coming. And then if I was like, ooh man, you got screwed. I mean, I'm over exaggerating. I would let people go into saving throws, but then if they botch their saving throws, you'd have to come up with, a creative way to Mm-hmm. I came up with some creative ways to fix things.
Yeah, and it got to the point because he would always make more squishy characters, and he didn't make the smartest decisions. But it got to the point where he's like, yeah, I'm just not gonna make a character backstory anymore because I just keep on dying. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
He needs the mid-max. I think like a big thing for me in our last campaign, Robert, is that I really tried to build the strongest character possible,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not really fun.
Oh, I love it.
It's I don't know. My next character is not the best, but I'm
That's
gonna
okay.
play him very fun.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
And
It's all-
hopefully everybody else have a good time.
Yeah, as the DM, I hope so too. But it's all about like finding what type of player you are. Like I like trying make them good at something, but some people like just kind of a more. He would always do like fun ideas, like almost like gimmicks, and that was his thing. So on paper and in combat, it wasn't very good, but he enjoyed it, and the dice just weren't nice to him. I don't know what my dice had against him, but we're good now.
Yeah, my entire D&D philosophy is based off the end of Saw 5, where Jigsaw says if you get good enough at anticipating human decisions, you don't have to guess anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I just learned that if you get understand your players and what drives them and how why they make their decisions, you can set up any situation to be scripted without writing a script, because people are actually pretty easy to marionette.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like our barbarian just wanted to hit things, and so I just would put an extra big thing in there for him to hit. We had one guy who very similar. He liked playing fun idea characters and wasn't worried about having the strongest stats. And I realized real quick he just did the opposite of whatever he thought I wanted him to do. And so I would just put where I wanted him to go in the opposite direction of the signposting. And then he'd go exactly where I wanted him to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then later he'd be like, dude, thank you for always giving us so much choice. And I was like, yeah, I did. Totally. You got it, man.
What's your number 2, Mike?
Okay. So the first weekend that I had Jo after her mom moved to Tennessee, she wanted to watch a movie. And so I was like, all right, what movie do you want to watch? And she picked Megamind. And I was like, okay, yeah. I know you've seen this before. It's a good movie. Actually, of all the things you could pick, this one's pretty chill. And I'm exhausted. So,
Will Ferrell's
this
in
is
it.
nice. Yeah, you know what? Still think he's overrated, but credit where credit's due. That movie's solid. Anyway, there's a point in that movie where Jonah Hill's character is going on this rant, and at one point he mentions that the Tooth Fairy is not real.
Ooh.
And Jo turns to me and she's like, Dad, is the Tooth Fairy made up? And I'm pretty indifferent, but her mom is real big about we do not tell lies to Jo, and I'm not trying to start a fight over the freaking Tooth Fairy. So I deep breath, and I was like, no, Jo, it's the Tooth Fairy is your mom and dad. It's just a fun game that we that parents play with their kids. And she goes, okay. And I was like, you okay? And she goes, yeah, let's watch the movie. I was like, all right, cool. And so we finished the movie. I completely forget about this. I text her mom at some point, just to be like, oh, hey, heads up. She knows about the Tooth Fairy now. I figured this is how you'd want to handle it. She was like, yep, nope, that's perfect. Great. I get a text a week later that just reads, they have a community pool. So it's not a public pool, but it's kind of like a public pool. It's just for the people in the neighborhood. She goes, your daughter is standing up at the neighborhood pool screaming at the top of her lungs, the Tooth Fairy is not real. It's your mom and dad. Which, for my money, is good intention, great outcome. But for the normal, well-adjusted person, bad outcome.
Didn't he also say the Pope in there too? The Pope doesn't exist or something?
I honestly don't remember. Tooth Fairy is all I took out of this most recent watch of Mega Man.
And I think that's funny because I'm pretty sure she said she got money from the Tooth Fairy in the past couple months.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she knows. She knows.
Oh, so she just plays
right
along
well.
with it.
She's just
Okay.
yeah, it's still fun. I was a little surprised though when she was like, "Yeah, Tooth Fairy's made up." I was like, "Yep." She's like, "But Santa's bringing me presents." I was like, mm-hmm.
Oh.
Just carry on.
It's yeah. It's she's usually so good at making intuitive leaps of logic. But hey, whatever. Maybe she just doesn't want the presents to go away.
It's true.
Doesn't understand that she'd got the same presents either way.
Can't say I've gotten a present from Santa since I found out he wasn't real. Allegedly.
You want one? Well, do you hear the bell ring or no?
No. So.
Oh well, there you go.
All right, Lou. Why don't you bring us around with your number one?
All right, my number one, and I don't think I shared this on the pod, is one of my favorite stories. I hold very close to my heart. It's a Bear Lake story. I think it was a in middle school classic. If you know me, I absolutely love working with middle schoolers. It is my favorite group of people to hang out with and to work with. I think it's a perfect mix between adult thoughts and like kid. Like some things are still cool, but like able to have a full conversation with them. They can be absolute terrors, for sure. But generally, if you get on their side, they're pretty cool people to hang out with. So, in middle school classic. So I'm the counselor there. So we're all sleeping in the same cabin. I like that there's like a little counselor quarters that the kids can't come into. And so I'm vibing with them. We're having a great time. We're talking about candy, and a lot of my kids are talking about how they love the Hershey's white chocolate cookies and cream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's just like, it's one of their favorite candies, having a good time. I go into the snack shop, and they have it, but I'm poor. I don't have any money. I'm getting paid cents on the dollar.
You get $5 a week to your snack card.
Yeah. So I can only buy one candy bar, but I want to do something for my cabin because we're just having a good time. And so there's this thing called horizontal hour where all the kids have to be in their bed at least or taking a nap and
So
kind of
good.
just resting.
So
And yeah, it's good for everybody. Camp is a marathon, and it's just hard on the body. So it's good that everybody gets some time to rest. And so I'm going in there, and in the past, during horizontal hour, usually everybody's vibing and like playing a game, and they're playing Mafia or something like that. But all the kids are gonked out. Ooh, I don't know if can I say that?
I have no idea what it means. I just took it to mean knocked
They're
out cold.
sleeping.
So
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And so what I do, trying to be a good counselor, is that I break the candy bar, and I put it either like on their pillowcases, or I put it on their sleeping bags, and so that when they wake up, they can have chocolate. They can wake up to chocolate. It's like putting a ball in front of a dog.
you kind of like
And
the Tooth
having-
Fairy.
Kind of like the Tooth Fairy. Yeah, I pretty much, yes. Oh my gosh, the connection's crazy. I pretty much Tooth Fairy them with chocolate.
Candyman.
Yeah, but out taking any of their teeth.
Well, you are with the
That'd be
sugar, but
Yeah, that's deep too. Yeah, that's a thought. And so I think nothing of it. I'm a good counselor. I'm the best counselor in the world. God has gifted me with this amazing talent.
humble too.
Yeah. I also super tired, so I go to bed, and I wake up to one of my campers going, "What is on my face?" and then that kind of wakes up with the rest of the kids, and they're like, "It's all over my sleeping bag. What is this?" And I forgot that chocolate melts, and body heat and rolling around also happens, and so I pretty much chocolate bomb all of my all of my kids.
And you spend your limited gift card.
Perfect
Our
prank.
funds.
Perfect prank.
and yeah, I immediately was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this." And
you
so
tell
I
him?
had to go in there with pretty much my tail tucked between my legs and go like, I put chocolate near you guys, thinking that I'm so sorry," just like stumbling on my words. And because we had such a good relationship with everybody like forgave me, but I had to like wash all of their bedding. Because I absolutely destroyed their stuff. And so yeah, for a free time, I had
Is
to
this
do laundry.
when the housekeeper got mad at you for doing the laundry wrong?
I don't remember that being a thing.
I thought Pam yelled at you one year, or yelled at something you did,
He
not
yelled
at
at
you.
by Pam because he washed the wrong
Oh, that's what it was.
floor mats.
The
That's
floor
what it
They're
mats.
like
was.
brown instead of black.
Knew he was
That's
washing
not black.
something.
That's brown. Yep. No. Nope. That wasn't it. Same year, I think. But yeah. So yeah, that is one of my favorite one of my favorite stories of all time. Yeah.
I'm
Good
surprised
intentions, bad
none of the
outcomes.
campers were awake. Because as a camper, like I was, for the most part, maybe later high school I wasn't, but I was always up during horizontal hour trying to do something.
Yeah, but when you're a really good counselor, you can get
You
your
get 'em
kids to
tired
sleep
out.
sometimes.
Well, all of them though, all 10 of them or whatever. That's
If it's late enough in the week.
there you go.
Yeah.
I took
day
this
of the week was
strategy
it?
from my dad. I ran those kids so hard. Anywhere where you're going was a race, and there were points on the line.
Mm.
You know what the points got you?
Candy bar.
Freaking nothing.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, I probably would like buy the winner a candy bar at the end of the year. But like, you get those kids competitive. You sprint everywhere. I mean, we would walk, but we'd send them sprinting. You get them worn out, and they sleep better.
Yeah, I think my thing was the pool. Just like wrestling in the pool.
I did that too. I loved
Yeah,
the pool.
that will get you going.
can't
That'll-
do
that'll
that
tuck you
anymore.
out.
You still
Nope, can't
have
do
them
it.
run. Well, I don't. Can you have them run now? I don't know, man. I don't know what these softies do nowadays. No mudslides or whatever. What is it?
Yeah, I did the mudslides. Those are an okay thing to not be allowed to do.
Out of all the things, that one's probably good. That wasn't. You get
I
like,
wanted to do it because
Mudslide?
it's like a slip and slide, but in the mud.
yeah, it's like right at
Like that.
cabins 11 and 12. There's
Oh,
that
I
dip
know
right
where-
there. So whenever it rains, it just gets super muddy. So you just go get your swimsuit on, and just go roll down in the mud. And sometimes you get hit by a stray rock and all that, and
Ooh,
nice chip.
rough.
Also, they spray you down with a hose after and have no sympathy for how cold or like how much water pressure is coming out. So they just blast you in the face with ice cold water out of the squeeze gun. They're not just like putting their thumb over. They are letting you have it. And I'm pretty sure it was to make you never want to do it again.
Or they just didn't like you. Maybe.
I mean, that's
was-
also
They knew
entirely
you were your
possible.
dad's son, so they're like, yeah, he can. He was
But BZ was in that same group, and he also was like, "Guys, please stop!" And they all liked him, so like they were ruthless.
So my number one, it involves D&D again, but that's not the main focus of it. So as I said this last one, I don't know if I've ever really talked about it in the podcast, but I was in a fraternity, Beta Upsilon Chi. It was a Christian fraternity. And like I said, I try to do D&D games with a lot of the people, a lot of the members there. And then one year I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this new module set in Baldur's Gate. They say it was set in Baldur's Gate. It had like a chapter in Baldur's Gate, but that's not the point. I'm like, I'll run it for the new pledges we're getting. So that's people coming into the fraternity, basically like it's a trial run to see if they're a good fit and all that. And one thing, because it is a Christian fraternity, we ask that you live by like the Christian rules and everything, and that you're living a Christian lifestyle. And one person wasn't, so like they put in a membership like, hey, we're gonna let this person go, like, and all that. So I go and I text them like, hey man, I know things didn't work out with in Bucks, but I just want to let you know that you're welcome at the D&D table and everything. Like, no hard feelings. Like, it's still like we're friends and all that. I just get back like, what happened? I'm like, oh, you son of a. So the officers, even though they decided this, told all the members, but didn't tell him. So I was the one that broke the news to him, and I'm like trying to be a good guy, be like, hey, no matter what, like we're still friends. You can still come hang out. Nope. I end up being the bearer of bad news, and it was awful.
It's so good. So good. Oh man.
That was the one I thought of right away when you remember this topic.
gosh.
So knew that had to be my number one.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if you're
I
ever
have
going to
nothing
let
to add
someone
to
go
that.
of something, make sure you tell them first before telling other people.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there was a really awkward week where because I used to be at the front desk, so like at my job it's like the front desk and the receptionists are all tight. Excuse me, the front desk and the janitors are all tight. because we all have the same boss, and so like we all kind of chit chat together, and that's like your department kind of. And so I sometimes get the chit chat from that department because I used to be the receptionist, so the current receptionist will feed me stuff because I trained her. And she was like, "Oh man, I'm worried about blank janitor because he's been having these issues, and we just hired 2 new janitors, and we only ever keep 2 on staff." And so I had a full week where I was just sitting there like, "Oh crap, they're gonna fire this guy. I like this guy, and I can't say anything." So I've been on the opposite end of that, and it's awful. So I don't imagine it's any better on your side.
Not as bad as when Dan Pratt did something similar.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was the worst ever.
Yeah, oh, man.
I'll just leave it at that if no one
I mean,
wants
I've
to
no
say
problem
anything.
talking about it. I don't want to eclipse anybody's time.
Save that one for another day. What's your number one, Mike?
So my number one, my parents were out of town. I don't remember what the context was, but they were out of town for like a week, and they were coming back. And I go up to my little sister. I was like, "You want to help me clean the house? Like, it's not trash or anything. Nothing bad was going on. My uncle lived with us at the time, so it wasn't like there was a total lack of supervision. But it's like, hey, mom and dad are coming back. I'm sure it would mean a lot to mom if we like tidied the place up and made sure they came back to like it being pristine." She was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So we're cleaning up, and then like my uncle got home from work, and he was like, "Is this the clean the house so mom's happy when she gets home clean?" And we're like, "Yes, sir." And he was like, "All right, I'm in." So all 3 of us are cleaning the house, top to bottom. And I find in the cleaning closet some wood, like some wood cleaning spray, so for like your wood table, give it a nice shine. And I was like, "Oh, hey, we got hardwood floors upstairs." And so I sprayed some all over the floors upstairs and all on the stairs. And I scrubbed it, and they were looking so good. The problem is, it makes any hardwood surface you clean with it super slippery for like a week. And so, I kid you not, at least once, every single person who lived in that house fell down the stairs in the following week.
Including yourself?
Myself included. Oh, yeah, just all on your butt, all the way down. Because like there was no stopping once you fell either, because there was no friction at all. And so your feet would go out from under you, you'd land on your ass, it would hurt crazy, and then you'd hit every single step all the way down. And I was like, "I'm sorry, I was just trying to make the house nice when you guys got back." We did also have a blast in my room. We'd like run and sprint because the whole upstairs was hardwood, and so we'd like intentionally, like I had some friends over and we'd intentionally just slide across it on our socks. That was a good time.
Who was the first one to bite it?
I don't remember. It was probably Becca or my mom, just based on reason.
Based on reason.
Like based on like my
Sherlock
sense of reasoning. Yeah. Not there is one reason that I'm trying not to say. It would make sense if it was one of the 2 of them.
Well, let us know down below in the comments. What are sometimes you tried something with good intentions and had bad outcomes? Do you guys? I know Lou's got some honorable mentions, but Mike, do you got any?
So I have one for you.
For me?
Yeah. I thought when you started telling your number 3, I thought for sure this was going to be it, and then it wasn't. But I showed Rob "Country Song" by Bo Burnham one time.
Yep.
And there was a girl that at the time he insisted he was not interested in. I still don't believe him, but whatever. And he listened to half of this song. It's relatively clean in the first half of the song, and he immediately forwarded her the YouTube link because she was into country music.
And
then he heard the second half of that song, and you could see it all over his face. Just, oh no, what have I done?
And I got one for Mike, so this actually ties in well with my number one, so it goes back and forth. It happened twice, actually. Yeah, different times, I was in between jobs. He's like, "Hey, man, I got you. I got something for you. You can come work with me at X place." Now, granted, the second time, first of all, I should have learned from my first experience working at Chili's, which apparently legally we have to say was a great time. Can't say anything bad about it.
I don't know if you signed anything or not, but I have nothing but good things to say about Chili's.
I'm sure there's it's been like a decade, so I'm sure that it's run out by then. But anyways, I should have learned that the first time not to take a job from him. And each time it was not.
Pretty sure the second time came with the disclaimer.
Yeah, so at least the second time he was like, it's not, it's gonna be hard work, but you can still come get this job and make more than minimum wage. So I did it, and my thumb is I still have a split thumb from that second job. I've tried to get nail repair kits and everything, but nope, it's still split and everything. So, I was on the receiving end of Mike's good intentions at some not so great times.
Hey man, you got paid.
I did. Got paid more at the second job than the first job, but.
Oh yeah, my gosh. The warehouse paid pretty decent.
Mm-hmm. Just pick things up and put them down. Lou, I know you had a pretty big list. So what do you got for us?
All right, I'll start spamming these. So do you remember the? I think it was a meme where the little kid was like, "You're not my dad." Do you guys remember that?
You're not my dad. Yeah, it's a vibe.
You're not my dad. And so I've took that in my head, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be my personality for the next 2 years." And anytime somebody told me what to do, I would say, "You're not my dad." I had a father who was not biologically my father, and he has been in my father role. He was in my father position role for a decade now. So I thought it was safe to be like, "Hey, you're not my dad. Don't tell me to take out the garbage." I thought it would be hilarious. So he told me to take the garbage out, and I was like, "You're not my dad." And he looked at me with the saddest face I've ever seen him. And I was like, "Hey, that was a complete joke. You are my father. I respect you as my father. I will take out the garbage now." So yeah, that was good. I had a boss. Well, actually, one of my first bosses out of college. And she, amazing boss. I had a great time with her. I learned so much from her and how to kind of conduct yourself. And she really put me under her wing for a little bit. And I learned a lot. And because we got comfortable with each other, my filter kind of got a little loose. And am I still here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure my computer breaks down. My filter got a little loose, and I noticed throughout the year that she would lose weight and gain weight really fast.
Oh no.
Absolutely terrible thing. Never talk about anybody's weight or anybody's body at all. But I was really struggling with my weight at the time, and so I was like really cool that she was doing this. And I was like, "Hey, you're losing a lot of weight very quickly. That's pretty cool. What's going on?" She's like, "It's depression, Lucian." I was like, "Oh."
And you were like, "I'll try it."
Can I have some? Is it in pill form? Yeah. Dumb thing, don't say it. And
I actually, for a while, was toying with the idea for recording a spoof ad read for depression, but pretending it was like trying to find a way to spin it as a product people would want to buy. And now I wish I'd done that.
okay.
That's a
Next
choice.
thing.
I thought it'd be funny.
I don't know. Not sure. Yeah, and my last one is happened last year. I remember sharing this with you guys probably the day it happened. My work was doing affirmations. We do our online.
I do remember this one.
Yeah, happened last year. We we do our affirmations. We have our online meeting every Monday, and we were just giving each other affirmations. And we had a new lady who was African American, and I am also African American. A little more vanilla in me than her, but I only had a handful of conversations with her, and I thought this was a terrible time to do affirmations with people because she just got on the team and nobody knows her very well. So this is terrible planning, but whatever. And so every conversation that I had with her, she was very vocal, which I loved. She was very opinionated. She had a lot of ideas on how to better our community. And I was all for it, and she was gung-ho, and I was like, "Let's do this. This is fun." And so my affirmation to her was that I love how aggressive you are. I I think you're gonna do great things, and this is awesome. And the couple days after that, I had a meeting with my boss, and that I shouldn't have called a black woman aggressive. And yeah, it makes sense. I get that. I understand. Yeah, I get it. Just sometimes you just gotta, take it in the rear and just keep going, pop it off. I don't know what other better saying I could have said, but
You know I'm a degenerate.
so I went to her. I literally after the meeting and I apologized, and she was pretty aggressive about that as well.
Whoa, you can't say that, Lou.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You gotta
I'm
say
sorry.
she was pretty about that.
She was pretty blank about that, and then 4 months after that, she quit the job without telling anybody that she was quitting.
And you were like, I love how passive aggressive you were about that.
That's pretty on the nose for what I just said, but again, just wanted to say I shouldn't have said it. I was trying to be kind and thoughtful, and sometimes you just drop the ball. So yeah, that's my speed run.
Next week, gosh, I just thought of this like 5 minutes ago, so I want to know what your top 5 boss fights are. I know you guys are very much some Souls-born people, so I'm sure that's going to be a lot of the...
Did I do that?
Yes, you did.
I was trying to make a note on my Google Doc. Apparently, I was on the wrong
It's like,
monitor.
well, that's a passive,
like,
that's
all
passive
right.
aggressive.
My bad. I was hitting enter. I thought I was starting a new line.
Yeah. So we'll see. Other than that, I'd like to thank you all for listening to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. Like I said, let us know down below what are some times that you guys tried to do something of good intentions that ended up turning out poorly. Let us know what topics we should talk about. Let us know some icebreaker questions. All of these will give you some topper points. And at the end of the year, we'll announce who the top race, and you'll get a fancy Discord title and all that, and get the take it away from Cantwell if he's not the topper again. But be sure, if you're listening on YouTube, give us a like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave a comment down below. Leave us a 5-star review as well, and a comment on that review, and we'll read it off on the podcast. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Adios, muchachos and mochichos.
I was gonna go with amigos, but otherwise I had the exact same thing to say.
Dang.
No.
Melted
Use
cheese.
cheat codes.
No.